To succeed online, yeah, we know to succeed on Google and internet, you must know some secrets of search engine optimization. What do SEO experts tell us? Search engine optimization experts. To promote on social networks, yeah? To promote on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Blogger, LinkedIn, YouTube. To create groups, to create events and invite your followers to these events, to add some relevant people and businesses to your circles, to treat your Google Plus page like a microblog and add new content, valuable content regularly, to create personal profiles and to addition to your business. Newsletters, pinging, commenting, links, basically all what I mentioned it in 1 minute, and you can study like a year or two. There is something very interesting what I want to tell you, something that search engine optimization experts are not going to tell you, and none of them are going to tell you that. Search engine optimization by itself can be the concentration on the wrong metrics. All these visibility tricks, all these SEO being on the top, can be the focus on the wrong metrics. And this is very important, and this is like a revelation was for me, you know, because there's also a factor of these sharks. Sharks, the large, like giant businesses, they just kill the small fish. You know, this is phenomenon of sharks in Google, and they basically own the Google space. So they invest enormous amount of money to succeed. These sharks, they are the future. You know, they own the space on Google. They pay enormous amounts of money, and in fact, there's no chance to compete with them. This might be the conclusion. There's no chance to compete with these sharks. They not just offer accommodation service like many other runners, yes? They offer the best service. They use the most sophisticated and advanced computers technologies. They work for customers, you know, and they offer service and quality. Quality basically is everything, yeah? In 21st century, only the company with the best quality that will succeed. So there is no chance to succeed against these sharks. That's actually the conclusion to which I came. And indeed, you know, before maybe like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you could, it was more or less equal opportunities. All players were more or less equal, and later it's like a tree, you know. Tree grows up, and those small bushes, they have no chance to grow up and to compete. And it's basically what's going on this hotel intermediaries industry. Okay, let's say you already started this activity, you started this business as a small tour company, like a runner who works solo, or maybe some tour agencies who already started this business. How you can succeed? How you can show your best competitive advantage in this case? In my opinion, there are some ways to succeed, obviously. If you are original, if you differentiate, if you give up your weak sides and you concentrate on your stronger sides, and then there is a chance that you can succeed. And indeed, it's possible to be original and to succeed in some ways where you feel the strongest possible competitive advantage. Even if you not succeed, you know, we forget very old but very important truth, that business is more about creating the values than making money. In our media culture of consumerism, in our media culture of success, we forget about this truth, that try to create values. Okay, you don't see money, go socially, you know, and maybe eventually you're gonna succeed and you're gonna have profit. Some intermediaries, they charge you for membership, or they charge you for, like, if they list you on their portals and they charge you for like 3 months in advance, 6 months in advance. If I were the property owners, I wouldn't go for that, you know, because it's frequently it's just a waste of money. They don't perform as they claimed, and they might charge you for membership, but they don't perform as claimed. And it's better to work for commissions. Yeah, if you are a property owner, just work for commissions. You see what they can do, and basically you can judge accordingly. If they do good, then you can raise commissions, you can pay attention to these runners, but don't go for some membership and don't pay for nothing, you know, because frequently these prestige clubs or these small hotels or hostel associations, or it's frequently can be just a bubble, you know. So you work for profit, yeah, as a property owner. So you need to work with successful runners, and don't ignore sharks. Sometimes on tourist conferences, the regional tourist conferences, some operators, tour operators, they try to advertise themselves, and they kind of ignore the sharks. Yeah, don't ignore these giant companies. They do all job for you. If you are a small property owner, guest house, mini hotel, go to booking.com. Booking.com is everything. They do all job for you. If you're a mini hostel owner, go to hostelworld.com. It's giant companies. They do excellent job. What you need location. You need, well, whether you have it or not. You need a service. You need standards, facilities, atmosphere, fun, and based on this, you have ratings and review. Yes, and customers, they choose. You know, these companies, these sharks, giants companies, they have excellent service. They're not just have a quality functioning. You know, they offering the best quality and service, and they deliver the promised quality and service. And that's why these small runners, these small competitors, they cannot compete with them. And it's obviously these enormous amounts of money which they invest to Google. It's just figuratively telling, nailing the coffins of these small businesses. They have no chance. You know, if you look forward a few years, these giant companies, they just own the space. You know, they are the future. So you have small property, just go to this website, booking.com, like Expedia. These giant companies, they, as I say, they are absolute dominance. The small companies cannot compete with them because they cannot offer this. They have no resources, they have no quality, and they have no means to compete in an effective way. So, in my opinion, for small property owners, the best sites for advertisements. I think it's worthy of attention of interesting hotel management strategy, hotel management ways, how they could fill up their hotels at the time when the other hotels were half empty or totally empty, and they could be successful because they had some original strategies. And you know, the customers, when they came to their hotels, they always stayed, just because there were possibilities to find the room which they want. There was a room business class, there was a room budget for budget travelers, there was a room basic, like sharing facilities, private facilities. They organized hostels rooms, so the customer, like backpackers, come low season, high season, bargaining with prices, negotiating the prices. The tourists almost always stayed, just because when they came to those hotels, there were a few types of rooms, and they could choose, and they stayed. Also, there were interesting methods of management, like the management, receptionists, administrators were very active, very polite, very attention to the tourists, not to lose the tourists, yeah, to bargain, to negotiate the price, to break price down, and they got bonuses. They got higher salary if they were successful. in their management, and everything worked out to that the tourists would stay. And you know, maybe other companies that had fixed price and they didn't care much, but these guys, they were cared about their business and the business was successful. And they were proactive in trying to find the customers instead of just waiting for customers to find them. There were interesting organizations of running work, like there were street runners who used to work actively because they used to work for bonuses, for salaries, for different like commissions, high commissions, and they fill up these hotels. Also taxi drivers, taxi companies used to work for these hotels. Also there was interesting methods of sisters hotels, co-working with sisters hotels. When one hotel was fully booked, it helped to the other hotels to fill up the rooms. So the customers came in, you fill up the application form, and made reservation, and with this reservation was coming to the other hotels. So there was solidarity between the hotels, and in this way they used to work very professionally and very successfully. And it doesn't matter, slush season, high season, they were very successful hoteliers. So because of this originality, with this mobilization, with this organization and solidarity, they could be successful. Of course there are differences in cultures, like Eastern cultures, Western cultures, there are differences. I know that in Europe, in many countries, generally in Europe, the street running is not really European cultures. Yeah? It's not common, it's not normal in Europe to offer something on the street because it's well, it's not really European culture. The touts or barkers are, many countries are not allowed, yes, but on the East it's normal, it's common. The same with the blandishment or reassurance of the tourist, like pushing the tourist to make a purchase, yeah, or to stay, or to convince him. It's not really European culture. I don't want to say that there's some superiority or inferiority of cultures. It's not what I want to emphasize, but what I want to draw attention is that interesting fact that the people who are winning from their cultures and who are exposed to two or more cultures, they are more original. Yeah, they have mentality, kind of rebellious, kind of rules breakers, but they are original, you know, and they are successful. And competitors frequently cannot compete with them. Of course, the property owners, especially small property owners, like small restaurants or small hotels, I think that the only thing with marketing, especially now when rising cost of mass media advertisements and rising cost of Google AdWords is getting more expensive, so the only thing you can do is on a reputable intermediaries websites, you can have good reviews, good ratings, high ratings, and that's the only weapon you can fight. Today, I think, is the only weapon. To be registered, to be listed on the top, the most reputable intermediary websites, and to have highest reviews and ratings. The only weapon for small property owners to succeed. To sum up today's topic, what I want to emphasize that we can formulate the conclusion, yes? That there is necessity sometimes to break out of your traditional mentality. Like on the intersection of new ideas, new innovations, new experiments, you might lead to greater chances for success when you experiment, when you do something original, when you do something different. And this is the point, you know, like the guaranteed way to prevent your own creativity is to stay in the environment where you are. Like traditional environment and traditional classic methods of doing things. But when you get out of your environment, when you move your brains, when you are different, when you are original, this is the way to succeed. Also marketing, you know, marketing media creates frequently these false wants for industry. Industry is benefiting from this, but more industry than people. And also we frequently live with this cultural pollution for parents, for children. The people who devoted to the social service of social needs. They're not losers. If you bring benefit to your neighbor and not making income, you're not a loser. If you bring benefit but you don't have a profit, you're not a loser. With one hand, you know, the world will belong to the sharks, yeah, to the global players. But I would say differently. I would say the world already belongs to those atypical, not typical, but atypical entrepreneurs, business people who invest with philanthropical strategies, with philanthropic investments, with philanthropic strategies. And I think society should encourage these initiatives, because if you're ready to be unsuccessful, you're socially motivated, then these people are very valuable for any society. The problem is that we underestimate the phenomenon of the sharks, because Booking.com, for example, it's like most successful acquisition in the history of internet. Maybe YouTube can be compared with Booking.com in terms of tremendous success. Booking.com not just is like winning the competition. It's not meets competition; it crushes competition. You know, and a big gap between these small intermediaries, like local ones, enthusiasts, and these sharks who invest enormous amounts of money to stimulate the potential customer's desire to make reservation. And if you notice on the internet, we frequently do some job on the internet, some research, some studies, and we see this on the right side. We see this advertisement which like potentially programming you to book in the future through these intermediaries. And this actually is with a single ad they can reach like millions of people. And if you see 24 hours this advertisement, if you see like first and second page, like you obviously gonna click on this portal, and in the future you're gonna use this portal because it's gives the excellent service. So sometimes business enthusiasts, like business groups, young talented people, they decide to dedicate some time for research, and they think that they made a proper research. They studied the like competition market, they studied the cost effectiveness, the technical expertise. So they say, okay, we compared our strengths and weaknesses, we studied the buying behavior, let's make accent on the selling emotional propositions. So they decide, okay, we got this novel idea, video booking service or 3D booking service, and they believe in the future. And there are many similar original and creative projects in the booking service, but in my opinion there is a like overestimation of your competitive intelligence. I mean, it's unrealistic mission, and it's absence of pragmatism, because maybe for short time you can be successful, but in the long run you will not succeed. So these kind of projects are not for long run, and I don't believe in their success eventually. Some intermediaries, they decide to charge the hotel owners, hoteliers, they make contracts like for 3 months, for 6 months, for 1 year, and the problem might be that sometimes they like a few weeks you don't see their website even on the second page of Google. And it's actually like, it's not just like public funds and some business groups, it's can be governments, institutions, or some governments projects which even exist on taxpayers' money. You know, they made some like tourist departments who decide to make these web portals, and immediately they decided this is commercial success to make contracts with the hoteliers and to charge them for service. But the matter is that they property owners, like hoteliers, especially the small hotel owners, they cannot see it they have no skills to monitor these types of intermediaries, and they have no skills to see this, to compare to see their excessive costs, and they just pay, okay, we're gonna work, sounds attractive, but I would call it's like a get-rich-quick schemers, because they don't perform as claimed, they are not for long run, and frequently their traffic is not long run traffic. And that's the point, that's the main point, that so this kind of co-working for intermediaries, you might make money today, yes, but you're not going to make money tomorrow, because if the hotelier will get more experience, that you're not going to co-work with the runner who doesn't bring him any profit, because frequently these kinds of projects, I think they are they are not pragmatical, and it cannot be successful if they don't see how you can bring them profit. So I would advise that mutually the best is to work for commissions. Yeah, you see the results, and it's obviously visible how successful intermediary are you. If we differentiate, if we switch from the heaviest competition, we switch to different segments, like multiple niching, and we target several market segments, design separate offers for each of these segments, and in this way I think it's possible to be creative. Like you add more products, you widening your offer mix, and you might have to generate like few ideas before you find good ones. But if you're screening, you spot good ideas, you drop poor ones, and I think in this way it's possible to be successful in somehow if you find your niche, because sometimes like you can serve some small segments which other tour companies ignore or overlook, and you can be successful in this segment if you dedicate the time and attention to this. Also, sometimes the market niche strategies can be really successful if you can find some profitable corners in your activities and you position yourself strongly, and basically you can find your niche in this way, a multifunctional, multi-segmented activity.
In the battle between quality and quantity, quality always wins. So if you choose between writing the article like every day or writing just one truly amazing article per month, the second one is better. Okay, what are the secrets of copywritings? What are the secrets of success? All great stuff have one thing in common. They all offer a unique value that you won't see elsewhere. And the secret is to answer more questions completely. If you think about Google sends visitors to your page because people are searching for something in that search box, yes? Supposedly your page contains the answer. The more questions you can answer with your content, the better user experience will be. And Google will likely connect with you. So if we ask ourselves, what questions will people have about this thing? The more questions you answer, the higher rankings. It's very interesting truth. I tried to do it I have websites, like kind of laboratories websites. I make experiments in search engines, and I decided to write 12 articles, to post the 12 articles in one, and look at how it works. And it didn't work out, maybe because the search box is hotels. Yeah, if it would be some other or maybe search engine optimization experts could correct me why it didn't work out, but it didn't work out. But what the experts are telling us that the more questions you can answer, the higher rankings. If you can turn yourself into a consumer, one famous marketer said this: if you can turn yourself into a consumer, you probably shouldn't be in advertising business at all. What is the consumer? What is the nature of consumer? What is the behavior of consumer? The consumer is the people, they don't care actually what you want to sell, they care what they want to buy. Sometimes they buy irrationally, spontaneously, but they actually consumer, they don't buy products, yeah, they buy benefits of products. People are not interested in you, they are interested in themselves. They don't have a time to desire to read like hundreds of pages. They only choose a view information that matters them. So once viewers have a good first impression and emotionally connected to your landing page, the next step is to decide if your offer is worth reading. The research shows that the first thing they are looking for is a prominent headline with relevant keywords. However, most visitors don't read top to bottom. They skim the headlines and only actually read the sections they care. Some experts, they argue that the headline must sell your product. Unless your headline sells your product, you have wasted 90% of your money. Always start with working title. Nothing works as well on the web as headlines. Some even advise to write lots of headlines. So introduction should be quickly tell people what your content is about, explain its value. In some ways, the first 2 lines on your content are the most important. So catch the attention of your audience and compel them to keep reading. Very important advice. When people go to a web page, the thing they want to more than anything else is instant clarity. Ask yourself, who are they? What they want? What problems they face? The content should be adapted to the user's needs. There is also interesting statistics. I collected these statistics and very valuable. According to statistics, younger users are more susceptible to influence than the older ones. Middle-aged women are the biggest sharers online. Men are more influential than women. Women influence men more than they influence other women. Married people are the less susceptible to influence in the decision to adopt the product. Also, if resource is with the positive comments and reviews, the research shows that 63% of consumers are more likely to purchase from a site that has a product ratings and reviews. In the United States, for example, the majority of Americans, like 84% of Americans, say that the consumer reviews influence their purchase decisions. 1/2 of the 84% say that they rely on those reviews during the first stage of buying cycle. Very interesting. Therefore, there's necessity to live the lives of your audience, to think about what influences them, what drives their passions, what makes them want to share, and how to focus on your audience to cause an immediate, visceral, emotional impact. There must be also strong call to action. An excellent offer does the following. It addresses your customer and identifies their needs, states what your product does and how it meets those needs, demonstrates what makes you unique from your competitors. So use the element of surprise. Present something unexpected. Add scarcity. Add sense of urgency to your copy, like special discounts or something like this. And the most powerful element in advertising is the truth. Yeah, if you make claims, you must prove your claims are true. As we know from the principles of marketing, promise what you can deliver and deliver more than you can promise. This is one of the principles of marketing. So there must be uniqueness, like rareness of information, idea, concept, evidence of proof, credibility, indicators, testimonies, photos that demonstrate your product in action. There might be also statistics like any achievements to talk about, any qualifications you have, anything that adds proof to your claims. So what proof do you have that you can actually solve the problem? A lot of problems, a lot of promises without proof is just a hype. So can you come up with an offer that client can't refuse? Can you make like bossy promise and use magic mechanisms to add irresistible hook to your offer? Think about your target audience and about ways that you can connect with them on emotional level. So we are dealing with people of emotions, not logic. So also keep your blogs updated, fresh, edit and rewrite pages. That's how you get better. Longer posts read shorter if you break them with photos. Also very important, yes? There is actually no such a thing as too long but too boring article. Ensure that your images reinforce your message. Make it simple, make it memorable, make it inviting to look at, make it fun to read. Be sure your copy, you say like never been said before, yeah? Content must be based on exclusive research, emotional stories, useful information, well researched, original, amusing, engaging, unique angles, must be solutions to problems as well. As quality content entails the original data, yeah, align it with trending news topics, illustrate it with beautiful figures and charts, and provides actionable key takeaways. To hook your readers, you must apply creative principles to create captivity stories. And it's obviously not easy to write a well-structured articles that inform, educate, entertain, but there is necessity for this. There is necessity to be poetical, yeah? In your prose, be poetical. Write prose, but poetically. If English is not your first language, it's really difficult to be a copywriter, and you might hire to professional copywriters. And this is new, this is getting fashionable. I think in like post-communist countries, there's librarian society. Librarian society, the people, very beautiful people, very educated, low paid. They can do this service for businesses. They can invest their intellectual capital for some internet projects as copywriters, some of them. So librarian society is, I think, they are the people who could try themselves in copywriting. I know that business owners, they search for copywriters, like PR agencies, marketing agencies, they search for copywriters. But professional copywriters, they spend a lot of time in libraries. They are excellent. They have copies to show you, yes, with many happy customers. And but if you run small business, you cannot hire the copywriters. You can try to write yourself. Use Wikipedia, for example. Wikipedia is an excellent source to see the structure of the article. And yes, find the location of library. Libraries are full of ideas. So you can try to do it yourself. And only through consistency and frequency you actually will become a writer yourself. But as I say, it's very difficult. Especially if English is not your first language. You can write in your language, of course, but yes, do it if you can handle it. If you cannot handle it, you can bring more damage, more harm to your content than good. So think twice before you start to do it. Also, if you have a good copy, very good advice. If you have a good copy, spend more time to promoting your content than you ever did creating it. Kate Toon, famous copywriter, in one of her statements, she says that the biggest reason most sites are failing miserably to ranking is because of accidental block or poor code, missing files, or something silly like using frames. But content is important. Content is the king. Content is the future. So pay attention to copywriters and pay attention to your content on your websites. I came to the conclusion that copywriting is not an art, but a science. Just imagine that thousands of articles every minute are added to the internet. And in commercial projects, in commercial websites, you may have a good traffic, good indexations, but no sales. If copywriting, it's all about sellability, yes? If your content is created with the main purpose of making your readers take a certain action, then we need to know and to understand the science of persuasion and influence. Okay, in advertising, you have only 3 seconds to capture the attention of your audience. And these few precious moments are crucial to setting up your brand proposition and how it can potentially solve a problem for the reader. The most plain reason that the reader easily leaves the pages is that you cannot spend 1 minute on the page that doesn't tell you what to do or what to know in a plain words. They don't want to be bored, yes? So as a customers, I have a limited time. So tell me what I need to know. Tell me right away. Don't get cute about it. Don't make me hunt for it. I'm here because I have a need. Tell me how you will fill it or I'll leave. Okay, let's ask a question. Where to get a great headline ideas? And you know what answer I found? It is a little known fact that some of the highest paid writers write their cover headlines for popular magazines. And their headlines among the catchiest you will ever read. Also, there is a phenomenally successful global brands from which we can learn. For example, Apple. The Apple copywriters know exactly how to sell with words. They know the copywriting tricks and formulas that sell products. So just look at the big brands, yes? Someone said that headline is 80 cents out of your $1. And compelling and catchy headlines must promise some kind of benefit or reward to the reader to captivate the audience with power words. So witty content or clever content by itself doesn't do you any good. Make sure your content engages your audience, builds trust and encourages sales first. In a modern world, it's useless to be creative, original thinker unless you can also sell what you create. The fact is that people don't care how many words you wrote if you aren't sharing something that really helps to solve their specific problems. Powerful sales copy is like having an automatic money-making robot writing for you day and night. So the biggest investments you can make is learning how to write sales copy that sells, or writing isn't your thing. The consumers are very skeptical these days. They need a strong guarantee. Lots of study data shows that the guarantee offer removes objections and helps you make sales. Online customers read websites very differently from other written material, so poor website copywriting reflects very badly on your business. Over time, the copywriting has become a more and more a spammy practice. The complexity of internet projects is increased. The achievements projects are aggravated. So today, many brands threw a lot of money in vain, for paid advertising in social networks, and many throw money away with absolutely no sense. From a sales standpoint, the search engines are miles ahead of where they were like 5 or 8 years ago. So you can't turn trash into cash anymore. your internet project, maybe Me Too project, which is no better than successful projects that are already established in the marketplace. And it can be that your competitors build a useful and amazing product, service, or idea, and they don't need to sweat or organize or dream up some stupid campaigns. They just make money as first players or best players. And in your hard work, you may work very hard, yes, but you work for their profitability. You help them to make money. And even if your internet project possesses the required strengths, it needs to employ skills and resources superior to these of the competition to really win in a market segment. So the internet project should enter the segments only where it can offer superior value and gain advantages over competitors. So first of all, there is a necessity to listen to your potential customers. So it's wise to have a view of the entire potential battlefield. What's working in your market? What's not? What you can learn from others, success or failure. I found a lot of interesting material on copywriting. This one, for example, an average 8 out of 10 people will read headline copy, but only 2 out of 10 will read the rest. The shorter your bio is, the more people will read it. The shorter sentences are easier to read and easier to understand. In headlines, numbers, digits in particular, are more shareable. The storytelling is more shareable than announcements. Most people post on Thursday and Sunday. Can be debatable though, but it's some study data. Yeah, most people post on Thursday and Sunday. So promote readability with short and broken sentences. Most people have time to read articles, to watch videos and photos after work, so evening time. Use imagery. Imagery helps readers instantly to understand their situation or benefits, plus it makes your copy more interesting to read. So include photos, graphs, videos. Our brains love images. According to one research, the aggressive or violent sounding negative, one more time, this is very interesting. According to one research, the aggressive or violent sounding words encouraged more social shares. Of course, writing about negative things or trying to make things negative isn't that great in a way to help us, but maybe it's possible to use this technique and turning it inside out and focus on positive. The hashtags will allow your post to be discoverable in the search windows. Also, it works when there are testimonials, even with the pictures of the customers. Sometimes there are sugary testimonials, and that sounds like they are written by a marketer. So sugar-coated words tell how wonderful, how amazing, how super perfect a service or product is. This kind of testimonies nobody believes. Demonstrate a large amount of credibility in using statistics, expert references, and testimonials as appropriate. You must be authoritative. If you are not an existing expert on a subject, you had better have done your research. Show and prove that the value you offer far exceeds the price you are asking for it. Your words should match your target audience, needs and desires. There's necessity to listen carefully to your audience. The more you know about your audience, the more you know about audience you're writing for, the more targeted and relevant your copy will be. Put yourselves in their shoes. The main goal in copywriting is to understand your potential customer so you can persuade, motivate, and sell them your product. And the more people see aspects of their beliefs in your writing, the more they will share your posts. Focus on benefits. Every great writer advises other writers to emphasize benefits and not features. The best headlines are those that appeal to the reader benefits. Talk about what your product does and not is. Give people a reason to do as you tell them. Do you want people to listen to your or follow your suggestions? Just give them the reason why. How are you going to make them happier, healthier, or richer? Make your content stand out of the crowd. Use social proof. The more subscribers you have, the better for your project. Yeah. So if you have lots of customers or you've handled thousands of orders in 24 hours, make it known. Also, social sharing buttons on the pages are important. If you ask a question, let the reader to say yes. It's a classic persuasion technique used by Socrates. Also, there must be considerations when thinking about posting frequency. Minimize the use of jargon. It hinders the understanding of article. Just remember that when it comes to the internet, nobody wishes to waste time figuring out information. Everyone wants it quick and fast. Don't use cliches. Be original. Search your brain for better words, catchy phrases, and fresher language. Cater your language to what your audience can understand. Create a curiosity gap. Sound bites sometimes use contrast or surprise because contrast and surprise attract attention. They startle the brain. Also, threesomes are sticky and easy to remember. For example, you say the thinnest, the lightest, the fastest iPhone ever. Also, for example, instead of we provide the quickest printing service in town. Much better. Get your brochures printed in 48 hours or receive 25% discount. You see the difference? Again, over 5,000 customers have been helped by our service. It's much stronger in the active voice. We have helped over 5,000 customers. You see the difference, yes? Okay, explore different sources. When you discover content that is spreading, look for the denominators. Are the posts funny, serious, or about certain situations or lifestyles? Make a list of what you readers sharing the most, because when you make explorations on copywriting, what works, what doesn't work. Make the other post funny, serious, or about certain situation or lifestyles. Make a list of what readers sharing the most, because that's what they enjoy reading. Don't walk away from difficult stuff. There are no miracles. Objections do not disappear. You need to address them. If customers think that you are expensive, then explain how you can help customers to save money, how you can help them to make more money, or explain how much more enjoyment they'll get from your product or service. So prove your value. What objections do your customers have to buying from you? How can you address them? Copywriting is about copywriting is about sales, yes, and selling is about taking away the customer's objections to buying from you. Enhance your credibility with technical details. Details sell. Determine your value proposition. Like, why should your customer buy your product or service? What's in it for them? Why is your product better than the one down the street? What are the key differentiation? The fundamentals of persuasive copywriting are: gains attention, focuses on the customer, stresses benefits, differentiate you from competitor, establish credibility, builds value, closes with a call to action. Depending on your product prospect and the type of content, you may not need to use all. So for example, the established brand names might not need to worry about proof and credibility, but keeping them in mind while you write and revise can help you create stronger, more compelling copy. You'll sound more confident and build more trust and credibility when you prove your case with reliable data. So back up your benefits and other claims with proof. This wins you over skeptic readers and shows that you really do know what you're talking about. A few copywriting ideas to back up your claims might include facts and statistics, methodologies, testimonials, case studies, success stories. Organize your writing with a formula. What I've got for you. What's gonna do for you. Who am I? What do you need to do next? What's your product? What does it do? Who is it for? Also use AIDA formula. Just look up on Google. AIDA. AIDA formula. Attention, interest, desire, action. The modern copywriter must understand good web usability practice and accessibility standards. It's also working with a designer to make sure that call to action is in the right place on the page. So the questions. Is my core business easy to understand within the first 10 seconds of navigation? Am I answering all the deal booking questions a customers might have? Did you make a clear design plan before actually jumping into content creation? As you get to know your community better, you'll be able to tailor content to them. You'll learn what makes them laugh, what makes them cry, what makes them angry, happy. So study your audience, study your customer. 10 questions for your friend to ask you. What inspired you to create this new thing? Who is it for specifically? What are those folks going to get out of it? What do you think folks are going to love most about it? Already 4, yes? It's number 5. Is there anything that might surprise folks about this new thing? Have you tested this new thing out with anyone yet? How it go? What makes you qualified to create this new thing? What are you going to charge for this new thing? When does it all start? And number 10, what the first thing the folks need to do in order to have or to begin to use this? For the credibility, you must communicate the trust. So there must be strong guarantee, return, privacy policy, data about your track record, years in business, innovations and awards, publications, membership and participation in professional societies, seal of approval, agency ratings, media coverage. So, and also the website should enable site to user and user to site two-way communication, connection, the degree to which the site is linked to the other sites, also the commerce, the site's capability to enable the commercial transactions, layout and design, and all the values of the site's content that will attract attention of the visitors. Very valuable information. It's all for now, and thanks for listening.